Hey Rose, it's Friday, June 26th, 2015. I say that entire date because that date is about to be added to a lot of history and textbooks. Literally 1 hour ago, the United States Supreme Court, in a very, very close 5-4 ruling, created a new civil right, the right to marriage, and in so doing, ended any state's ability to ban same-sex marriages or refuse to recognize same-sex marriages. Oh my god. I'm no stranger to rooting for teams. Being initially from Chicago, I love all Chicago teams. I've always rooted for them. I also root for Kansas City teams. And going to the University of Kansas as a Jayhawk, I've always rooted for the Jayhawks. However, nothing in my entire life has ever felt more just like a victory than this moment right now. This is huge. We're talking like for historical events, this is up there with like the abolishment of slavery, women's right to vote, the ending of ethnic segregation, and now everyone's right to get married. Fuck yeah. In this change, the United States now joins a list of 21 countries who have all nationally legalized same-sex marriage. And for the sake of my pride in that, I would now like to just read all of those countries off in the order that they legalized same-sex marriage. And go. The Netherlands, Belgium, Canada, Spain, South Africa, Norway, Sweden, Portugal, Argentina, Iceland, Denmark, Brazil, England, France, New Zealand, Uruguay, Luxembourg, Scotland, Finland, Mexico, and the United States. It's very interesting that pretty much all of those countries are very socially and economically advanced. It's almost as if, I don't know, if all of your citizens keep an open mind and everyone accepts people who are different than them, then, I don't know, everyone can collaborate better and get more done and everyone is better off? I don't know, that's just a theory, but what blows my mind is just, I grew up hearing about the women in the beginning of the 20th century who were protesting, rallying, fighting, doing everything they could to have their voices heard, culminating and building up to women's suffrage in 1920, them gaining the right to vote. Women, 50% of our population who had previously had zero representation, now had their rightful 50% representation. That doubles the voters in our country. I remember hearing about the 50s and 60s with African Americans marching and fighting and protesting and rallying and doing everything they could to have their voices heard, building up to the ending of ethnic segregation. Like, my grandparents were a part of that. And now, during my lifetime, the LGBTQ community has been fighting, rallying, protesting, doing everything that it could to have its voice heard. For this, for today, for June 26th, 2015. Not gonna cry. But here's the deal. Just because in 1920 women were given the right to vote doesn't mean that today, 95 years later, they make the same amount of money as men. Just because racial segregation ended decades ago doesn't mean that today minorities everywhere aren't still segregated into ghettos and housing projects all across the country. And today, just because everyone has the right to get married doesn't mean that into the future there won't still be places in this country where it's dangerous and unsafe for people of the LGBTQ community to go. It doesn't mean that a transgendered person is going to find it any easier to change the gender on their driver's license at the DMV. The fight for social justice might never end, but when we reach steps like this, it shows me that at least we're still climbing. And on that note, everyone have a great weekend, and Rose, we will see you on Monday. Bye.